This poem is about my journey with therapy, but it's also an ode to my understanding and crying and all that stuff. Sorry. This is not an angry black poem. Though I'm angry, and I'm black. This is more of a cry for all of the black men who would never give them permission to cry. For all of the boys tried as men, who were taught not to feel about people who did not love them, who were taught not to feel about the people who did. I know that I'm a black man. I've seen the reflection of my skin in the eyes of too many stares in my lifetime to forget. The first time I was taught how not to feel, I was 9 years young, my lungs still learning to breathe in America. That day, I witnessed the police talk down to my uncle like he wasn't a scholar, like I didn't look up to him, like he wasn't a king in baggy football jeans with a smile that echoed the sound of war ending and peace rising from the ashes. I can recall my heart balling into a clenched fist, bare knuckle aim towards his reckless mouth, calling my uncle every name but the one my grandmother gave him. When the cop handed him back his driver's license, along with his dignity, the car ride home was a solid. Tension filled our vehicle like thick fog. My uncle threw his smile in the back seat and his joy traveled somewhere distant. The space became an abandoned church on Sunday, and I was in awkward prayer sitting in the front seat, not knowing what to do with my body, so I mimicked his mad. I figured if we had the same growl on our face, he would remember that I was his king. Later that evening, he set me down and talked to me about what to do when I was stopped by the police. His voice serious as a siren howling through the projects. It was then when I realized that this was the first time his smile was arrested for no reason. But what was worse is that he did not talk to me about how he was feeling, about where he hid his anger when we got home, about the pain still a river rising in his eyes from the first time the police beat him because his skin blended too well with midnight past curfew. He just carried on his day. Like being harassed by the police was normal because in his world, it was. In his world, no one ever gave him permission to feel. In his world, he was treated numb and then was accused of being numb. 3 years later, on one tragic night in Chicago, my uncle lost his smile for good when a bullet missed a crowd of folk and landed in his skull. I remember his funeral like it was this morning. That day was dark, and he was a still night star in the casket. I pressed my curious fingers against his lifeless body, and he was cold, hard, numb, void of emotion, just like his environment taught him to be when he was alive. Groups of women in my family took turns screaming in unison, like a choir of grieving mothers. But all the men in my family sat in the pew still as stone, trying not to crumble, pretending not to be broken. They were also lifeless. The only difference between their faces and my dead uncle was the occasional tears escaping their eyes like runaway slaves down the field of their cheeks. There is no sin sadder than hurting men, afraid to be hurting men in public. The second time I was taught how not to feel, it was during his repast. My heart was still confetti, still all over the floor, still learning to beat to the rhythm of my uncle being gone. My older cousin, who experienced too many deaths in his young life, said, "Boy, why are you still crying? Don't you know it's time for you to be strong for your family?"